today, I think what we need to do, or it's been suggested to me that it'd be a good idea, is to set the valve clearance on this, since it is a solid lifter cam. So I guess to get started we need to remove the valve cover, and I bought me a new valve cover gasket, so that should be good. So to do that, I guess first thing, remove the PVC. Need to cut that line since I had that tie back on the valve cover. Or this tie back. So I can get that out of the way. Then I suppose I need to pull these wires off of here. Alright. Then I need to remove this vacuum advance line. That should be out of the way. Now I need to remove the valve cover. What do you think those are? Probably a 7/16? Maybe? Yep, 7/16. Let me get something to keep those in. This one has a little clip hanging off of it for something. I'm going to lose it. Looks like that. You know what I should be doing probably is blowing that off before I open it up. All right. What do I got left? 4 more. And this back one back here reminds me that I need to put this ground strap back to it. Oh, I better do something too. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, had to put my old crusty sweatshirt on just in case I get it dirty. Sandy wouldn't want me to get my new sweatshirt dirty. Alright, 8 bolts, and don't forget that. Now we got to pull the valve cover loose. With a little pry screwdriver. Ooh, that's on there good. There, it broke. There, it's come loose. Put that aside. And let's take a look. All right. Who wants a closer look? All right. Some of them are nice and tight, some of them are a little looser. What do I got to do to deal with this now? I would imagine I got to loosen this. Somehow, or just turn that. Huh, okay. Alright, so I think I figured it out. The intakes are at 0.02 inches clearance, or the intakes, and the exhaust is at 0.24 clearance. So there's a little more on the exhaust. So how do I know when to do this? I figured out that if the intake is going down, then I can check the exhaust. And if the exhaust is going down, I can check the intake. So, this exhaust is going down, this intake is up, so that should have a clearance of 0.12. So I find my 0.12 feeler gauge, and I put that in there, and it's good and snug. But I can pass it through. So then I can look for another one while I'm at it. So this intake is going down, so this exhaust I can check. And the exhaust is 0.24. So I find my 0.24 gauge and I check it. And it's slightly looser, so I want to tighten that up just a hair. before. Okay, now that's about the same as that intake is. Then just so that I can keep my mind straight, I turn the engine over till the intake is going down now, so I can check the exhaust on number 1. And the exhaust on number 1 is just a hair loose. There we go. Now that's about the same snugness as the intake. And I don't see, well, that one I should probably check too. So that's intake on that cylinder. So that's 0.12. That one is pretty good, I think. All right, now we go to the next cylinder, number 3. No, it's 1, 2, 3. Yep, okay, yeah, 6-cylinder. So as this one is going down, this one should be free. And that is off of the intake. So intake is 0.12. That one I can't get the gauge in. So I need to loosen that up just a little bit. Let's see, 0.12. That's still a little snug. Oh, that's caught. Ah, that's still too tight. So Chris, do you think maybe that's why it was backfiring through the carburetor? Because that valve is still open when it's firing? Boy, that's tight. Oh, nice. Maybe that's a little too loose now. Okay, that's pretty much like the others. Now we turn that over until the intake is going down. And check the exhaust. Exhaust. And that exhaust, I can't even get the feeler gauge in there. It's way too tight. Alright, now I can slip it in, but it is snug. Okay, that's probably about right. That's where the others were. Now let's go to the next cylinder. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, that one. All right, so exhaust is going down, intake is up. Intake is 0.24 or 0.12. That one's pretty good. Now let's check the exhaust. Exhaust. That one's pretty loose. So we tighten that one up just a hair. Exhaust. There we go. That one's pretty much where everybody else is. Now we go to cylinder 5. Cylinder 5 has the exhaust going down. So that means the intake I need now is 0.2 or 1.2. Which is in here someplace. Which is right here. So my intake. I can't even squeeze it in there. So that one needs to be loosened up. There we go. Now it fits in there pretty easy. Maybe went a little too far. That's pretty good right there. Now we go to cylinder number 6. Okay, so the exhaust is going down. So I need to be on 0.12 for the intake. Oh, that's too tight too. Hold on a sec. Had enough trouble with Dolly Parton wanting to get me for having the radio playing. Now I'm gonna have Bocephus doing the same thing. All right. Let's see. There we go. That's maybe just a snug bit tighter. There we go. And now turn it over to get the last one, which is the exhaust. There we go. On cylinder 6. And that's looser than a goose. All right, that's probably pretty good right there. Okay, next thing I have to do is I need to get the rest of this old gasket off of here and clean up the surface so that I can put the new gasket in, because that thing is crusty. and then put the valve cover back on and put it back together. So that's about it for right now. I don't know, shall we run it through one time just to take a good look and see what's happening with all the cylinders? Looks like they're all going up and down in the right order. So, all right, well, I'll come back to you once I get this cleaned up, and we'll put the valve cover gasket in and put the valve cover back on. Talk to you in a bit. Mail call. So, yesterday was nice enough. My uncle sent me a book, Dodge Trucks, models 100 through 700, Technical Service Manual. Might be a year off of mine, but it sure does seem to have a lot of information in here. Thanks, Fred. I think this will help out a lot. Okay, so I spent some time, phoned a friend, and learned a few things about setting up timing and valves and all that kind of stuff. So I think I did a little bit more research too on how to set the gap on the valves. So let's recover that. You know, do it right because you do it twice. Do it nice because you do it twice. So I'm going to go grab the feeler gauges and we'll start over. I think that's the size. Nope. I think that's the size. There we go. That's the right size for the wrench. Let me go back and redo a couple things to reset the gap. Okay, what do I got? I got the Technical Service Manual. Now somewhere in here I gotta find what the valve adjustment is, which is probably in here somewhere. In the specifications area. Here's your 225 one barrel, and I want to know what the valve clearance is. Here we go. Here's the valve stem type is solid. Face angle is 45. Exhaust is 43 degrees. Seat angle lift. Exhaust positive. Stem diameter, head diameter. Guides length, intake, exhaust. Clearance. Here we go. That's stem to guide. Tappet clearance. There we go. It's supposed to be done hot. So that means I should warm the engine up before I make this adjustment, huh? So, let's add a little fuel, because I've run it out. Should be enough gas to get it warm. Come on, lid, get on there. All right, that should be enough gas. Let's fire it up. Choke, gas. Too much choke. Woo. It's running off a choke. Now I'm going to disconnect the battery just so I don't get sparked anywhere. Oh wait, I need to do it like last time and make sure that my valves are closed So I'm going to need the battery, won't I? Let's see. So I want to see where that one's going down so I can test this one. Okay. And that is the exhaust valve on the number 1 cylinder. Exhaust is 24 thousandths. And the intakes are 12 thousandths. So what I've been reading is that I should be able to feel some slight sliding, or some slight drag on the 12 thousandths. The 13th thousandths should be some heavy drag, and the 11 thousandths should be, no wait, this is exhaust. Which one's which? Exhaust is 24. So if I'm setting this right, I should be doing 23 should be loose. 24 should be a slight drag, and 25 should be a heavy drag. And I can't even put that in. So that means to me that that one is too tight. So I'm going to loosen that one up. You don't have to move these much. I'm going to make my life a little bit easier. I'm going to get a socket and a 3/8. That way I can get back here and not be right on the valve. Okay. So here is my should be loose. I still can't get it in there. Still can't get it in there. That's probably where it should be for the 24. Okay, that's pretty loose. Let's go to 25 or 24. That should be slight drag. Oh, that's pretty loose. And 25 should be a heavy drag. Maybe just a hair tighter. There, that's a heavy drag. Let's go back to 24. That's a medium drag, not huge. And 23. Very little. Kind of in the, well, it's pretty slick, ain't it? Let's go back to 24. Yeah, that's slight drag. And 25. That is a heavy drag. Okay. I think I got that one about right where it's supposed to be. All right. So now I'm going to move to the next valve. which will be when this one is closing, the exhaust is closing, then the intake should be fully open. There we go. So exhaust is closing. Now I'm working with 11, 12, and 13. So let's go with the 11. Pretty smooth. Go to 12. Slight drag. And 13 should be a heavy drag. And it is. Okay, so I think that one was good to where it was. All right, now we move to cylinder 2 exhaust. When that, so then this one's going down, that one's up. Okay, so that one's going down, that one's all the way up. And that is an exhaust. So now we're back to 23, 24, and 25. '23 should be loose, and it is tight. There we go. Now that's a lot looser. So we move to 24. '24 should have drag, and it doesn't, so we're going to have to tighten that back up. And that seems to have a fairly heavy drag. So we're going to go about halfway. Still too heavy. There we go, that's just kind of medium. Let's go back to 23. That should be loose. And it is. So then we go to 25. And that is a heavy drag. Okay, all right. Now we move to the next one, which is an intake. Number 2 intake. So I need to watch this one go down. Whoop, too fast. There we go. So intake is 11, 12, and 13 again. So 11, which is this one. Nice and loose. 12. Moderately snug. And 13. Very tight. Okay, all right, so that one was good where it was. Now we're going to exhaust on number 3. So 2, 4, 6, I need to watch that one go down. There we go, it's down. And this is a exhaust, so we go with the big numbers on the exhaust. 23. Extremely loose. 24. Extremely loose, so we got to tighten that up. Oh, that's too tight, maybe. Let's go back to 23. That's pretty loose. 24. That's moderately loose. 25 is, oh, good and stuck, snug. Okay, good. All right, now we move to the intake of number 3. So I need to watch this one go down. Okay. And intakes are the small numbers. So we go to 11. And we're on the intake, extremely loose. Go to 12. That grabs on there. I wonder if there's a burr or something. Almost seems too tight to me for 12, but 11 was very loose. Let me double check that. Yeah, that's 12. Let's go back to 11. So if we go to 13, oh, 13, I can't even jam in there. So I'm going to loosen that one up just a hair. Go back to 11. Very easy. 12. Fairly snug. And 13. Tight. Okay, I think that one's good. Now we move to the intake on number 4. So I need to watch the exhaust, which is that one, go down. There we go. And we repeat intakes, so we're doing 12, 11, 12, 13 again. Eleven is snug. 12 is extremely snug. So we're going to loosen that up just a hair. Go back to 12. There we go. And 13 is much tighter. Let's go back to 11 to verify. 11. And 11 is loose. Okay, I think that one's where we want it. So now we go to exhaust on number 4. So I'm watching intake go down. Exhaust is the big numbers, so we go to 23. 23, and we're doing this one. That one is tight. I can't even get that in there. So we loosen this one up. $23. That's pretty good now. 23, 24. That one's got a little bit of a drag. And 25 should have a hell of a lot of drag, and it barely fits in there. Okay, I think that one's good. All right, now we move to this one, so I gotta watch that one. And that one's already open, so I should be able to just move to the next one, which is an intake. So we go back to 11, 12, 13. That one's got a drag on it. Let's go to 12. That's got a lot of drag on it, so it needs to be loosened up just a hair. Let's go back to 11. Pretty slight. Go to 12. There's not a lot. We go to 13. That's too loose now. Let's go back just a bit. Okay. 13 should be tight. 11 should be loose, and 12 should be able to slip in there, and it does. Okay, that's pretty close. Now we got to go to the next one. So let's see here. This one has to go down so that that one is up. Okay. Now, let's see. We are on exhaust, so that's the big numbers. 23. Ooh, I can't even jam that in there. Way too tight. 23. Still too tight. 23 again. Still too tight. That was a big jump. Oh, now it's really loose. So let's go to 24. That's really loose. Way too far. Back to 23. Still way too far. Yet again. Let's try 24. Where I think we're getting closer. It's too loose though. So just a bit more. 23, 24, and 25. That's still too loose. Let's come back and tie that just a bit more. 25. That's getting really close. 24. And there's 23. There's 23. That's good enough for government work. Okay, now watching this one go down. Okay. Down to the last cylinder. Okay, so that valve is going down, so the next one is a intake. Check 11. That's pretty snug, but not far off. So let's loosen this just a bit. $11. 12 and 13. Yep, that one's good. Now we turn it over for our last valve. And this is exhaust, so back to the big numbers. 23. So loosen that one up and go back to 23. Still can't fit it in there. Let's go a big jump so we know if we're even in range. There we go, that's nice and smooth. That's nice and smooth, and that's about where 24 should have been. So I'm going to come back just a bit. So we go at 23. We go at 24. That's maybe a little too tight now. Need to split that difference. Back to 23, 24, and 25. Yep, okay, I think we got them now. So using the one bigger and one smaller allows you to gap halfway in the middle easier, at least for somebody who doesn't have experience on what that, gap feel should feel like. At least you learn, what too tight is and what too loose is by feeling the one on each side. All right, let's see how that works. Think it might run any better? I don't know. Let's try starting it up. Have everything out of the way. Looks like it. A bit better than it was. All right. So that takes care of the valve guides, or not the valve guides, the valve clearance. So now all I have left to do in here, I needed to check to make sure that oil was flowing, and it is coming through. It's dripping off of all those valves. So now I just need to finish cleaning off the gasket, the old gasket, so I can put the new one back on. And then maybe next time I'll show you guys the trick that I learned yesterday from Freddie about setting the timing, at least the initial base timing, so that at least it'll start. So, all right, that's how I'm now setting my valve clearance. So I hope this helps people out who maybe don't know what the heck they're doing like me to figure out where that stuff is supposed to be. All right, well, I will talk to you guys later next time. Bye.